Donald Trump is going viral for this clip where he clearly says something very racist about GOP Representative Byron Donalds while on stage, but this clip is bad because it's not the intentional, malicious type of racism that we've seen from Trump in the past, like when he says that VP Harris just recently turned black, or like when he calls for the execution or arrest of the Central Park Five after they were exonerated. This is a more insidious, covert type of racism, like when your older coworker says something about black people, and you think about it for a second and you realize they just expose their true feelings, expose themselves as a racist. So this is Donald Trump exposing this deeply entrenched racism that he has within himself, and that's why I think this clip is worse. Let's jump into this video. Make sure you leave a like and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. People think they're subscribed, but they're not. To lay the groundwork, GOP Representative Byron Donalds, you know him, he isn't squeaky clean himself. He has said something to the effect of, at least the black family was together during Jim Crow. And after he made these comments, he immediately got heat from black leaders, black activists, rightfully so. Florida Representative Byron Donalds, a Republican who was seen as a potential running mate for Donald Trump months back, is defending himself amid Democratic criticism of comments he'd made Tuesday suggesting that black families were together during the Jim Crow era of racial segregation. How do you get it so twisted? How do you get it so backwards? Quote, you see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together. Quote, during Jim Crow, more black people were not just conservative, because black people have always been conservative minded, but more black people voted conservatively, he said. That ended, he suggested, due to a culture of dependence promoted by the federal government's welfare system. And then HEW, Lyndon Johnson, you go down that road, and that's where we are now. Lyndon B. Johnson, did he pass anything substantial for black people? I can't quite remember, but this brings us to present day, where Donald Trump points out Byron Donalds and says, quote, that one is smart. You have smart ones, and then you have some that aren't quite so good. And some of the comments are really funny really quickly. Ace said, he's racist as hell. Bill DeMaio said, guy just said Byron was, quote, one of the good ones. Can we be done with this weirdo, please? He's not trying to hide it anymore. Trump doesn't even hide his racism anymore. People are calling Donald Trump out, and let's watch this clip.
I'd say, Mr. Congress, oh, look who we have. Byron said that, please. Superstar of the future. He's already a superstar, but he's a superstar of the future. Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. That's good. He's great. He's great. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. That one is smart. You have smart ones, and you have some that aren't quite so good.
And if you've been around people that have this covert type of racism, you know exactly what Donald Trump is saying. I grew up in Indiana, even though my family is quite liberal, quite left-leaning, I grew up around people in my high school that would say stuff about, oh, he's one of the smart ones, he's one of the good ones, and you immediately know that this person has these preconceived notions about black people as a group, and they think that a cool black person that they meet is the exception rather than the norm. And I want to take a second to dissect Donald Trump's actual words here and the harm that can come from them, because outlets like CNN and MSNBC don't take the time to highlight what I perceive as racial undertones in what Donald Trump says. Oftentimes they are too charitable to him when he doesn't deserve it. So let's re-listen to this end sentence right here.
About that one is smart. You have smart ones, and you have some that aren't.
Also, make sure you leave a like on my channel too.
quite so good.
So when Donald Trump says at the end, you have some that aren't quite so good, I perceive that as racially charged because if we look at what Donald Trump has said in the past about the suburbs being attacked, he's talking about black families moving in. There are racial undertones there. Every time Donald Trump talks about rioters or looters, I perceive there to be racial undertones. I think he has the black population segmented in his mind where he thinks normally black Americans are rioters or looters, or from the Republicans I've talked to, they think black Americans are uniquely lazy or soak up welfare. That's just from Republicans I've talked to. And I think that Donald Trump, when he says word for word, that one is smart. You have smart ones, and then you have some that aren't quite so good. And he's looking at GOP Representative Byron Donalds. I think he's very clearly segmenting parts of the population out in his head. And this is a repeated
Oh my God, people keep supporting this guy. One of the good ones.
Are some too bad because he believes that will better.
If he just said that one is smart,
pattern with Donald
that
Trump. So
one
many times
is
throughout the
smart.
years, he has shown that he segments
That's
parts
that's
of the
how he
population
addresses
out
somebody.
and then
That
uses
one
racially charged
is
language. So
smart.
I'm not just jumping to
And
conclusions about
you
whether or not
are
Donald Trump
supporting
has
somebody
racial
who
undertones in his speech. Just look at the way he talks
identifies
about
you
the
as
suburbs.
that
It
one.
kind of reminds me of this
That
clip
one.
where Donald Trump slightly misspeaks, but in the
What is wrong with
process
these people?
reveals how he
What
feels
is
about
wrong
black
with
Americans.
these
In fact, I want to
people
find out
who are
what's
so
going on with him.
educated, people who are so
look
smart,
at my African American
but
over
will
here.
stoop
Look
low
at him.
And when this
and let
happened back
somebody
in
shit
2015,
on them?
2016, people thought that it was just a funny
Byron
gaffe, but
whatever
throughout
his
the
name
years,
is,
Donald
Byron
Trump's
Donalds.
rhetoric surrounding this
He
issue
points
has
at you
gotten
and
much
says,
worse.
that one,
I
look at
haven't
that one,
brought
and
up
tells
the
you, sit
black
down,
job
like you're a
stuff that
dog.
Donald Trump says all the time.
You
And I
behave
think
like a
part of
dog
the reason
anyway.
why
You
Donald
go around
Trump is
sniffing his
slipping, beginning
butt.
to lose his mind
He
every
says,
single
that
time he
one,
takes the
that one.
stage,
And then
is
he
because
tells you,
what do
sit
we know
down.
about Donald Trump? What bothers him more than being trolled is having people beat him in crowd sizes and ratings. And this article is titled Harrison Walsh interview ratings nearly double Trump's last big CNN sit down. And this comes at a time when Harrison Walsh are pulling massive crowds. I mean,
Fox News, on the other hand, is doing their damnedest. Even their straight news people like John Roberts are twisting themselves into pretzels,
That one
trying to
oh my God. Oh my God, these people.
spin a narrative
These
that it's a
people, how
positive
can
thing.
you
It's a good thing. How
sell
wonderful
yourself so
that
cheap?
J.D. Vance was booed
How can you
many,
sell
many
yourself
times
so
while
cheap
on stage in Boston at the
that Donald
International
Trump would describe you
Association
as
of
that one?
Firefighters
That
Conference
one
of 2024?
amongst the dumb
The
one.
same conference, the same stage at which the
This
day
is
before
this is
Tim
too
Walsh
much.
was
This has
greeted with
crossed this has
hugs
double crossed the
and
line.
uproarious applause. But to Fox News, they need to spin the narrative to their audience
It is.
that it's a positive thing. And by the way, this isn't Jesse Waters. This isn't another one of the goofs who are the opinion side, the Sean Hannitys. This is the news side, the straight news side, John Roberts. Watch this, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about this Kaylee McGee White. It's a hell of a name, Kaylee. We're going to talk about her a little bit and some of the nonsense she says. But first, John Roberts.
That's what they
You
think
do not get to
everywhere,
walk into
not
the
only
White
in
House
America.
and do whatever you want. You are accountable to the American voters. And Democrats have made sure that she will not be if she's elected in November.
I just want to go to something else here, because Kamala Harris, so far since she got the nomination, is always on friendly territory. Going into CNN is the
You know, the funniest thing about this is that Byron Donalds himself is going to go out there to defend what Trump just said. He's going to go out there and say people are just taking Trump out of context. Somebody is going to describe you as that one, tells you to stand up and tells you to sit down, but you are going to go and defend him. Would you allow somebody other than Donald Trump to address you as that one amongst the rotten one? Would you allow somebody who is not Donald Trump to address you like that?
Got some haters here, got some fans. Let me make the
Tomorrow, don't be surprised you see Byron Donalds will be defending Donald Trump and saying that people are just taking him out of context, or that he said it in jest. He said it jokingly. Don't take Donald Trump too serious. The same person you guys keep saying don't take him too serious keeps saying things over and over that denigrates you guys, that makes you guys look like you guys are just licking his anus, and you guys are actually licking his anus. And how does it taste? Does it taste good?
You do, if the leftist media has run an entire hype campaign to disguise the fact that she has no policy.
It's always the leftist media. The Democrats are doing well.
You also get it if the Democrats are saying, thank God it's not Joe Biden.
Well, why is she getting so much Republican support? Can either
She's
The
not
black
getting
job.
Republican support.
I just laid it out for you.
Which Republicans are on record saying
I
that
just
they
laid
support
70,000 on a Zoom call just last week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
The black job. And what is Fox News saying about JD Vance?
We got to leave it there. Great to see you in the studio.
What is Fox News saying about JD Vance
Conversation. I love it.
getting bold? Are they saying it's good for Donald Trump? How good is that good to Donald Trump? Have they got newspaper? Fox News, have they got newspaper or have they got propagandists? Have they got newspaper for real? How can it be positive? Kelly Maggie White. Oh, why is he smiling? You're getting bored on stage and you're smiling. There are no fans. All I can hear is boos. There are no fans. There are no people. Nobody's clapping. They are booing you. She's only been in the money for 5 weeks. It's always a leftist media. These people, do they really believe what they say? Do they really believe what they say? Or they know that their base